Alright, dude, it's me, Z, and I have a theory. Nintendo is gearing up to announce its very own first party exclusive Star Wars game that will be released later this year. So if you didn't already know, dude, a few weeks ago, Lucasfilm Games announced that it would be partnering up with Ubisoft to create a brand new, story-driven, open-world Star Wars game, and this announcement is important for a few reasons. First and foremost, it means that this is the end of that crappy, exclusive licensing agreement that Lucasfilm gave EA, the one stating that they would be the only ones allowed to make Star Wars games during that time. It's clear to Disney that EA is a garbage company and has created the most forgettable Star Wars games of all time. But the other reason this announcement is important is it appears Lucasfilm is not looking to create another licensing agreement with another company, and while it's exciting that EA's grubby paws will not be constraining Star Wars anymore, the question becomes, what does the future look like for the franchise after the Ubisoft game? The answer is simple. Lucasfilm will be letting different devs take a crack at their version of a Star Wars game, and Nintendo is next in line. Now, before we go any further, we need to understand why this will be the case, and there are a few reasons. First and foremost, there's currently no new Star Wars game on Switch. The only ones that we got there are the two Jedi Knight games that came out in like 2004 and Star Wars Pod Racer that came out a little before that. This means that on the most popular gaming device in the world, Lucasfilm only has these 15-year-old games available for people to play. And obviously Lucasfilm is going to want to capitalize on the more than 70 million people who have a Nintendo Switch and get them playing a Star Wars game that has HD textures built in. Now I know what you're thinking, but Z, why doesn't Lucasfilm just port over the EA Star Wars games to the Nintendo Switch? After all, wouldn't that be a cheaper and easier option than making a whole new game? And hear me out, hear me out. First off, the EA Star Wars games, which are Battlefront 1 and 2, Jedi Fallen Order, and Squadrons, are forgettable trash. Second, who knows how well they can run on Switch? Third, EA has stated multiple times that for some reason they really do not want to port their games onto Nintendo Switch, and it's really stupid and baffling, but that's a story for another time. This is all to say it ain't happening. So since we aren't getting a port of those garbage games, and thank goodness, why wouldn't Lucasfilm just make the new Ubisoft game come to Switch along with the other consoles? And the answer to this is pretty obvious. The Ubisoft game will more than likely be coming to the PS5 and Xbox Series X, which are a bajillion times stronger than the Switch, and I heavily doubt that Ubisoft is going to make it with the Switch in mind. So this still leaves Lucasfilm without any real Star Wars games on the mega successful Switch. And this all leads me to the next section of the theory in the form of Marvel Games Studios. Marvel has done something kind of similar to what I'm talking about with their franchises, in that they license out their games to different companies to have them try their hand at making a game. They had Sony do a Spider-Man game, which just so happened to become the fastest selling PS4 exclusive of all time. They had Square Enix do an Avengers game, which was a multi-platform, and they had, you guessed it, Nintendo do Ultimate Alliance 3 exclusive for Switch. This was one of those big surprises that no one saw coming, but yet everyone was hyped over. What's interesting about both Spider-Man and Ultimate Alliance 3 is that both games have gotten universally high praise, and they both happen to be first-party exclusive games, where that Avengers game was a pretty mixed bag, but anyway. So now that I have you convinced, the question becomes, what will this exclusive first-party Nintendo Star Wars game be and look like? And I think we can get the answer by looking at Ultimate Alliance 3. I think it'll need to be a more focused, non-open world game, and if we're going off Ultimate Alliance, I think it'll also need to be a sequel. And the first thing that pops into my mind is none other than a sequel to Star Wars Bounty Hunter. This is one of the most beloved games from that era and would only be met with hype and acclaim. This especially makes sense in a Mandalorian-obsessed world, and I can even see the game being a Mandalorian game itself. It could go through the backstory of Din Djarin, aka the Mandalorian, and show him rising through the ranks at the Bounty Hunters Guild, learning to use his equipment and becoming a more formidable hunter. Heck, I could even see it being a Boba Fett game. Something kind of similar to the canceled Star Wars 1313, rest in peace. So when the heck is this Mandalorian Bounty Hunter game coming out? My guess is that it's going to come out late to mid 2021 or same time next year, but I think it would work to have it coincide with Mando Season 3 and Book of Boba Fett coming out Christmas time this year. So that's it, dude. That's my prediction for the new Star Wars Switch exclusive. Now I really want to know what you think in the comments. Tell me what Star Wars game will make it to the Switch. If we get enough comments, I'll share them in a follow-up video, so make sure to get subscribed for that. Like the video and share it with your fellow Nintendo Star Wars brothers and sisters. Alright, dude, I'll talk to you later.
Yeah.